Hello, welcome to Misplays Diablo 4. Today I'm going to show a build guide on a Dance of Knives grenade build that I've come up with. I don't generally look at build guides, so any of these builds I have on all my characters are just things I've come up with on my own. Um, she's currently Torment 10. I just made her earlier today, actually, so I think I have like 13 hours played on this character. I know my channel is mostly sim racing content, but I'm a pretty big Diablo fan. I've been playing Diablo for many years. I didn't play a lot of Diablo 1. I actually didn't play it till way later on after Diablo 2 was already out, but Diablo 2 was a staple of my childhood, shall we say. So I'm going to go down here into the training ground, I believe. It's a little less laggy down here. My computer doesn't handle town all that great sometimes. Okay, so I think I'll go through the build first. I haven't done anything like this yet, so let's see how this pans out. I'll show my gear. I'll probably do that last, I think. I'll go through the skills first. So like I said, this is a grenade Dance of Knives build. So I am not using any basic attack because there is no purpose for it. I do not believe in this build, at least not now. There's not. I don't run out of energy ever, so I just have full energy basically all the time. So we have Dance of Knives maxed out here, and this ability it's a channeling ability. You hold it. I'll show you once I go do a pit level. I'll do Torment 10 pit anyway. I think I might be able to do Torment 11. I haven't tried it yet. I think my damage is plenty high. I'm not sure if my toughness is quite high enough. I don't quite have all ancestral gear yet. My pair of pants is pretty bad. So I have Dance of Knives. This is my primary damage ability here. I have gone with this upgrade here, Pierce and Size. Dance of Knives has a 33% chance to pierce and grenades explosion areas increased by 25%. The other one is Dance of Knives gains 20% increased multiplicative lucky hit chance. I don't really need that. I'm not really using any lucky hit, I don't think. If I am, it's not anything important. So early on, I was running energy cost reduction. This costs 21 a second. I guess I might have. I think it normally costs 25. I may have some. I think I have some energy reduction, resource reduction on my gear. I think that's why it's 21 right now. This may actually bring it down. Yeah, it would be 17. So, but like I said, I don't run on energy, so I go with Dance of Knives slows enemies hit by 25% for 4 seconds and grants 12% multiplicative move speed while channeling. If you're new to the game at all, or you don't know about these, the multiplicative and additive. So on this one, it reads the 12%. If there's an X behind it, that's multiplicative. And like this one here, the 25% has a plus behind it, so it's just additive. So obviously, multiplicative is always going to be a much higher value that it goes towards that it makes. So you have 3 upgrades here to choose from. I am using this one, like I said, it's called Grenade Jumper. Dance of Knives now drops grenades instead of knives, each dealing damage. Dance of Knives is also a grenade skill. Okay, so that's my main damage ability. I am using Dash as well. Using it for mobility, mobility and ferocity. I guess it does give me a little bit of critical hit chance too. So I'm using damaging enemies with Dash, increases their chance to be critically struck by 5%, additive for 8 seconds. You can also make them become weak. Weakened enemies deal reduced damage, 20% for normal enemies, 15% for elites, 10% for bosses. So I mean, weakened is pretty good. I have a little bit of weaken in this build from my unique charm. I'll show you that after we're done doing this here. Initially, I was using this. I guess I have been using this the whole time. I'm gaining 2 stacks of resolve every time I use Dash, and the resolve is a pretty important thing. I'll go through that here once we get a little bit deeper into this I've got some aspects and whatnot. It makes you very, very tanky. Resolve is a big defense increase in the game right now. So I'm using Primer as the last upgrade here. At the end of the dash, you enter stealth for 4 seconds, gain 1 stack of ferocity. It is increased by 1 stack of ferocity per 5 skill rank. So I did put 5 in, so I get 2 stacks of ferocity every time I use dash. And I'm using ferocity. I'll tell you why I'm using ferocity. I have some other ways of getting ferocity. I don't actually necessarily need to be using this, but I could maybe use this. It does make it a grenade skill. It doesn't really need to do more damage though. I don't know yet. This one might be okay. I have other ways to get ferocity now. I had changed this to this because I didn't have a good way to get ferocity. Ferocity increases your attack speed by 5% additive per stack. You can stack up to 4 times. Each lasts for 4 seconds. There is an aspect that does increase your max ferocity. However, I don't have any spots on my gear to really use that. It would probably be useful because maybe Dance of Knives Dance of Knives attack speed increases damage done rather than number of knives thrown, but it does not tell you exactly how much damage you get from attack speed. So I don't actually really know if it's worth it to get a lot of attack speed with Dance of Knives. I've kind of messed around with it a little bit, but it's hard to really tell how much it increases it. So I'm just not really, I mean, I have some increased attack speed, but I'm not like stacking it hugely anyway. I am using Dark Shroud as well. I only have 3 points in this. The build isn't necessarily complete. I may change some things, although currently it's doing pretty well, so I don't know that I need to, because I've got all my damage stuff maxed out. Dark Shroud gives you resist all elements and dodge chance. Yeah, what else to do? Let's see here. I'm using each active Dark Shroud grants you 5% multiplicative move speed, so this is pretty good. From what I can tell, you can go over the 200% movement speed cap that's in the game with this when it's activated. This one is pretty good, although I don't know. I guess I'd have to test it. I don't know if it's every shadow orb gives you 5% critical strike chance, because this just says while you have at least 1 active shadow from Dark Shroud, you gain 5%. So that to me does not say that you grant more than that. I guess I could try it, but I don't really think I need it. I like the movement speed. I have you heal for 10% of your maximum life when a Dark Shroud is consumed. Dark Shroud gets consumed when you take direct damage. I'm using Shadow Dancer. Casting Dark Shroud increases your dodge chance by 50% for 2 seconds, while you have at least 1 active shadow from Dark Shroud. Gain 11.1% dodge chance. So I have a little bit of dodge from that. Not a ton, but I think I'm around like 20% when I'm most of the time, which, I mean, dodging is probably the best way to avoid damage because you just don't get hit, right? So I'm using Poison Trap. I'm using Poison Trap because I'm using Poison Imbue. We'll see that here in a second. I have Poison Trap maxed out. My Poison Trap is vulnerabling the enemy. I have some vulnerable damage. I have quite a bit of crowd control damage. The Poison Trap knocking enemies down would also be pretty good for this build, but I already do a lot of freezing and stunning, I guess, because I have stun grenades as well, so I don't really need that necessarily. I have casting Poison Trap grants 2 stacks of resolve, so this also gives me resolve. So I'm getting 2 from dash, and I'm getting 2 from this. So I'm stacking my resolve up. You can get 1 more Poison Trap, gains 1 charge. That one's not terrible, I don't think. I'm not using it here though. I don't really feel like I need it because it comes back pretty quick. So I'm using Contamination. Poison Trap bursts for an additional amount of damage when it triggers. Enemies hit by this burst take 40% multiplicative increased damage from Poison Trap, so this just makes it do more damage. And then I am using Poison Imbuement on this build. I feel like you could probably get away with using any of these. I have a feeling Shadow is probably pretty strong with this build. The poison's real good. You'll see here in a minute. The poison is real good, but I think Shadow would be pretty good as well. So I've got Poison Imbuement. I am using this upgrade here, Duration. Poison Imbuement duration is increased by 2 seconds. Casting Poison Imbuement consumes up to 2 stacks of Ferocity to further increase its duration by 2 per Ferocity spent. So this is the reason I have Ferocity, mainly. I mean, the attack speed is useful, but I was having problems where I wasn't able to keep Poison Imbuement up the whole time, and it's like where all of my damage is at. If it's down, I don't really do a lot of damage, so now I'm able to just have Poison Imbue up basically all the time. It's never not up, essentially. I'm using cooldown. Poison Imbuement skills have up to a 30% chance to reduce the cooldown of Poison Imbuement by 2 seconds, so this is a reason why it's up all the time. It's just like constantly up. You can pretty much just spam it almost. I'm using this top upgrade, Toxic Touch. Poison Imbuement gains 40% multiplicative increased potency. Each successful time an enemy is poisoned by Poison Imbuement, the potency of Poison Imbuement against the enemy is increased by 5%, multiplicative up to 50%. So this just makes it do a lot more damage. These other ones are pretty good. This one fortifies you. I could see using this. This might be better. I don't know. There are some aspects that give damage when you're fortified. Quite a bit of it actually. So maybe this would be okay because I don't have any fortify yet. This might be something I'll have to possibly use when I go up to a higher torment level. This one gives you like a ring around you of the Poison Imbuement and it makes it bigger. I've not tried this one. It probably would be pretty good. I just don't I don't think it's needed. I'm just trying to get more damage out of it. This seems pretty good to me. I'm using Shadow Clone. As you can see, it is not maxed out. I believe I put oh yeah, I took some points out of Dash. Or no, not out of Dash, sorry. I took points out of Shadow Clone to put some points into Dash for this upgrade, the one I showed you earlier. So I gained 2 stacks of Ferocity per Dash. I mean, maybe I should have this maxed out. I'm not entirely sure. I did have it maxed out for quite a while, but I don't know if it's really what I need to do. So, I mean, things seem to be okay right now. So I'm using Shadow Clone. I thought about using Death Trap. I don't know if that's the right choice or not. Maybe I may try this at some point. It does shadow damage though, so I'm not really sure if that's what I want to do. I have Weaken and Vulnerable. I'm really kind of using this for Vulnerable as well. This weakens and vulnerables all nearby enemies when you cast it. And it's like the whole screen. So you can become unstoppable as well with this. And I don't really need to be unstoppable. I mean, it's kind of useful. You can walk through enemies. Or, sorry, this is not walking through enemies. This is characters have all control impairing effects removed and prevented. So you can get out of like stuns with it. I actually don't have an unstoppable way. Sometimes I do get frozen or stunned. I might die because I literally don't have a way to be unstoppable currently. Might be the wrong choice, but it hasn't been too much of a problem yet. I am also using, so you can reduce the cooldown. I'm not using that. I'm actually gaining, casting Shadow Clone grants 4 stacks of Resolve. While any Shadow Clone is active, you gain 1 Resolve per second. So this is another way to gain Resolve. So I have 3 ways of gaining Resolve, and I have a lot of Resolve. So this is why I have 3 abilities that are giving it to me. I'll show you that here, like I said, in a minute with the aspects. I'm using this top upgrade. Minimum Ferocity is increased by 4. As long as Shadow Clone is present, Shadow Clone's duration is increased by 5 seconds and deals 25% multiplicative increased damage. So this just makes it so the minimum Ferocity is increased by 4, so it like doesn't ever go below 4, I think. As long as Shadow Clone is up, I cannot go below 4 ferocity, which actually 4 is the max currently. So that's pretty useful. Okay, let's go. I'll show you the Paragon board here real quick, what I've got going on. I'm not going to really, you can just kind of look at this. I mean, I'm level 2, what am I, 2? I'm 251 Paragon, so got quite a few Paragon points. I am using the glyph Diminish in this first slot. This is a grants bonus to all rare nodes in range glyph. I generally try to use 2 of these in all of my builds, the ones that give rare nodes, because by rare node it means these yellow nodes. As you can see, these are not this high normally. I got 60% damage increase on that one, 90% damage to elites. These are not multiplicative, these here. They would have an X on them if they were. They're just additive, but still it's a ton of damage. So I've got that for the very first node there. My first legendary board that I chose was you gain 25% multiplicative resist to all elements, and you gain 60% multiplicative increase poison, shadow, and cold damage. So this is for basically all the imbuing the rogue can do, essentially. As you can see, I don't have enough points to get all this other stuff. There's a lot more defensive ones in here that I can probably get at some point, but I kind of just veer off and get what I can. Try to get some defense from some of these. I got life, resist. Obviously there's damage in here. Non-physical. The glyph in this slot is efficacy. I don't actually think I pronounced that properly. Anyway. This is also a rare node one. This is for imbuement. Imbuement skill effects have 20% multiplicative increased potency, so it makes my poison imbuement stronger. Just get a ton of non-physical damage from that, and imbue damage from that one. This board is mostly imbued stuff, yeah. So I'm getting 120% imbued damage, 60% non-physical damage. Okay, let's see here. The third board here, I'm using Cheap Shot as a legendary node. You deal 50% multiplicative increased damage, doubled against crowd-controlled enemies. As you will see, I pretty much freeze and stun everything constantly, so I'm getting 100% multiplicative bonus damage from this, which is real high. That's a very large amount of damage. I'm using Grenader in this one. This is a good spot for it. There's a ton of dexterity around here. I actually don't have all the dexterity nodes, I don't think yet. I might be lying, actually. Oh, no, there's one there. You can keyword search and go, like, dex. If I do this, dexterity, it lights them all up so you can see where they're at. It looks like I'm just missing one for now. So that's pretty good. This is really good. It has 105 dexterity so far into that. So I'm getting 173% grenade damage, 14.3% multiplicative grenade damage. And non-ultimate grenade skills have a 25% multiplicative increased radius. So that's pretty good. It makes my grenade skill quite large. There's a lot of crowd control stuff in this one. Some more defense nodes that I haven't grabbed yet because I just don't have enough points for it. The next board, we are using Leirana's Instinct. Your core skills deal 60% multiplicative increased damage. When inner sight gauge becomes full, you gain 100% dodge chance for 2 seconds. I forgot all about this. This would be part of the reason why I don't take damage sometimes, because this is up a lot, inner sight. I'll show you that here soon, the rogue specialization. This glyph I'm using Combat. This is the critical strike one. Critical strikes are skills that critically strike restore 12% of their energy cost. So this is one of the reasons why I don't have any sort of energy problems, because I just crit all the time. And this one gives a lot of crit damage. So generally you want to use, I would say, if your build is using critical strike and crit damage, there's usually at least one critical strike damage glyph. Sometimes there's 2. I guess it just depends on the build. There's some attack speed in this tree. What else is there? Just armor. I haven't really grabbed a ton here. I guess I have core skill damage in here. Just straight damage in there. Looks like I need some more strength for that to get that bonus. It's not a big deal. Okay, let's see here. The last board, I'm using Deadly Ambush. You deal 60% increased critical strike damage and damage over time to enemies affected by your trap skills. So whenever I lay a trap, I just gain 60% multiplicative damage by anybody who's affected by like my poison trap. That is the only trap skill I have currently, but like I said, it's off a cooldown quite quick. And I've got some trap cooldown reduction, which, to be fair, I probably don't need this, to be honest. I might get rid of some of these nodes to put points into something else. Maybe. I might actually just... that's trap damage, though. I don't know that I need this. I've already got... Well, I better keep that. It does have trap arms 0.5 seconds faster, so that's pretty useful. I think I might get rid of this, though. 1.5% trap cooldown. I think I'm going to get rid of that. I'll use that point somewhere else. Maybe up here, actually. I'll put a point of intelligence up here and get some bonuses if we can find... There's an intelligence node. We'll put it there. Gain a little bit more. I'm using control in this last glyph slot. This one, you deal 10% multiplicative increased damage to slowed or chilled enemies. Or, instead, 20% multiplicative increased damage to stunned or frozen enemies. Which I stun and freeze enemies constantly. So, this one is like perfect for my build. So that's the Paragon board. Like I said, I've had this up long enough. You'll be able to see what I've got going on here. I generally, once I hit 70, I just kind of get all of my boards that I want, and then I figure out the rest of it and use points where I can. Try to put as many points into these glyph things as you can. As you can see, like 74 out of 25 intelligence. I gain, for every 5 intelligence purchased, critical strike damage is increased. So these are very important. Glyphs are a huge damage increase in this game. They always have been. The Paragon board. I have a feeling the Paragon board is something that gets a lot of newer players in particular. I mean, maybe even people that have played the game for a while. It can be kind of confusing. I mean, there's a lot here. It looks more confusing than it is, I think, is what I like to tell people. Okay, so we've done the skill tree. I did the Paragon. I am using, the Rogue specialization. I'm using Inner Sight, which is attack enemies to fill your inner sight gauge. Marked enemies fill it faster when full. Restore 300 energy and gain 100% energy cost reduction. 25% critical strike chance and 25% multiplicative critical strike damage. The critical strike chance is just an additive, obviously, because, I mean, if you had multiplicative, they don't ever multiplicative critical strike damage. That would probably be pretty overpowered in pretty much every scenario. So I am using this. You could use the combo point one, but I don't know. I don't usually use the combo thing. Like this gives, it tells you here on the Dance of Knives, as you can see, like it shows if I were to use combo points. So it just does more damage and gives movement speed. I do think Dance of Knives is a decent one to use this with, potentially, because I think once you have full combo points, if you just hold the button down after that, I think it just uses the 3 combo points for as long as you're holding it, essentially, because it is a channeling skill. I'm going to stick with Inner Sight. Let's see here. I'll just kind of show you my gear here for the most part. I have plus maximum resolve stacks on pretty much everything that can have it. I don't think I have any plus health on anything. Why did money just pop out? I don't know what just happened. I just got like 5 gold for some reason. Okay. That was weird. I don't know what just happened. I actually have it on my neck piece too. I don't know if this is the right choice or not, but I have around like 45, I think it's 45 resolve stacks currently. So I'm gaining a lot of resolve stacks, which resolve gives you, as you can see here at the bottom of this piece of gear, it says resolve increases your armor by 25% while active. Taking direct damage consumes a stack. You can hold up to 8 stacks normally. So 8 stacks is the base you can have. I now have around, I think I have 45 currently. So I'm using Air of Perdition. I feel like this is best in slot for quite a few classes. Big damage, 80% multiplicative on this thing. Gives core skills, movement speed, critical strike chance. Unfortunately, this one has GA on the lucky hit chance, which I don't, like I said, I don't really need that currently. And as you can see, not all my stuff is ancestral. I guess I'm missing two pieces: my chest and my pants. My pants are not very good, honestly. I'll show you them here soon. Armor, I got max life, armor, physical resist on these. I got +4 to poison traps. Unfortunately, the transfigure was cold damage, which that's useless for me. And this isn't ancestral, so I've only got 8 maximum stacks on that. So that's another 4 stacks I'm missing, because this gives 12 when you can GA it from the tempers. My gloves here, pretty much all my gear is either I'm going for all damage. As you can see, this has a little bit of attack speed on it. There's some crit chance on these. Critical strike damage multiplier, which that is multiplicative as well. So I've got critical strike damage multiplier, and I tempered critical strike damage. Which, when you temper ancestral gear, you want to make sure that if you have the resources for it, you need to try to just get it to GA the temper, because it will do it eventually on ancestral gear, as long as if you reroll enough. I'm using Death's Pavane as the pants. These are Dance of Knives, drops knives from enemies hit. Picking them up grants you 25 energy, increases your Dance of Knives damage by 29% multiplicative for 5 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. So this is cool. This is a big damage increase. I need to find an ancestral pair of these, because they are not particularly good. I'm not using Invigorating Strike. I mean, the stats aren't that bad. It's got life, poison resist, dexterity. I would rather have something else to take over Invigorating Strikes, but I have these on for the aspect currently. My boots here are ancestral as well. Hold on. Sorry, I didn't tell you the aspects on these. Let me go back to the armor real quick. My bad. So, on my armor, I am using the aspect Glynn's Anvil. This one is very important. If you are going a resolve build, this is how you get super high defense. So this is your maximum resolve is increased by 2. You gain minus 3%. You can get 4% damage reduction per resolve stack. So, as you can imagine, like I said, I have 45 stacks of resolve currently. So that's 3% per one of those stacks. So 45 times 3. So it's quite a bit. And then we've got on my aspect here, on my gloves, I'm using enemies hit by stun grenades have a chance equal to your critical strike chance to be frozen for 2 seconds. I am throwing stun grenades when I use Dance of Knives because of my charm set that I'm using, which I will show you here after we're done with the gear. It also is, you deal 73% multiplicative increased critical strike damage against frozen or stunned enemies. So this is really good for my build. I already showed you the pants. My boots, this is where I'm getting my ferocity from as well. I basically just always have max stacks of ferocity. I could probably not use all of the ferocity things I have. Well, I guess it's just dash, I suppose. But either way, I don't really need a lot of ferocity now, because this is a 79% chance to gain 1 ferocity when you crowd control an enemy or apply stagger to a boss. So I'm crowd controlling all the time, so I just always have ferocity. My bow and arrow here, this is just stat stick, is all it is, just for the stats. As you can see, it does not have plus weapon damage on it. I tried to make sure it did not. This bow's pretty good, I feel like. It's got a lot of life on it. It's got all damage multiplier. I've got a GA on the critical strike damage multiplier. It's 100% multiplicative. The resource cost reduction, I would probably go for something else, but I re-rolled the top stat and got the health, so just kind of take what I got right now. I probably would take poison damage or something like that. Just some other kind of damage type that would help me out. Vulnerable damage even would be good. So this definitely needs to be replaced, obviously, and it's only 2 GA anyway. I tempered critical strike damage onto this. My aspect on this is you deal 360% multiplicative increased damage to enemies marked by inner sight. So inner sight is the specialization, which you get it constantly when you're just fighting enemies. You just like always have it. And then while inner sight is full, you gain 100% or 180% multiplicative increased damage. So you get bonus damage to the target that has inner sight on it, and then while you're in inner sight, you gain even more damage. So that one's pretty good, and it's on my two-hander, so it's doubled the aspect. That aspect is not normally 360%. That's doubled. Like I said, I think it's what 180%. So, which is still a lot. 180% is a lot. Neck piece. I got a 2GA one here. Again, all damage multiplier. I've got damage over time multiplier. Although, I don't know. After playing this build a little bit, I think I'm going to need to get a new neck piece and put critical strike damage on that. Because I think I'd rather have that than the damage over time. I don't really think the poison damage over time is really doing that much. It's more the direct damage that's doing a lot. The aspect on this, I have imbuement skills, have up to 100% chance to deal 165% multiplicative increased damage, so that's quite a bit, and that's just, it just always does that, it's 100%, so, well, it's a lucky hit, I guess, so I do have some lucky hit, but Dance of Knives has 45%, it's pretty high, so this has got to be going off basically all the time. The Transfigure I got from using the Kulian tuning prisms. I got the Cutthroat skills have up to a 98% chance to heal you for 3% of your maximum life. So I'm getting lifesteal from this. Why am I getting money? I'm so confused. There's just money popping out of me? Okay. Not really sure why, but whatever. Okay. This ring, I have a 5GA ring here. Is it 5? Yeah. Yeah, 2 for 5. This whole ring is GA'd. So I've got life on this. Why is it 5 actually? I don't think the life is GA'd. Maybe it is actually. Because I did re-roll it. Okay. I got life, all damage multiplier. Boy, I tempered the... I should not have transfigured that. I think I should have tempered the all damage multiplier. I think I messed up on this ring, to be honest. That's kind of unfortunate. Although it does have resource regeneration. I mean, it's not terrible, but again, I'd rather have some extra damage on that as well. But that is a pretty decent ring. Using you deal 90% increased or 90% multiplicative more damage to incapacitated enemies. So that is a very large damage increase against frozen and stunned. And then I've got over here, again, more all damage, critical strike, multiplier. Not a very good roll on that. I think that was pretty low. It's masterworked and it's only 16%. Got a little bit of vulnerable multiplier on that. I don't actually have that much vulnerable damage. That might be a mistake, but with some new gear, maybe I can make that happen. I am using the Elemental Fate aspect, which... I'm not sure about this one. It's pretty good, but it's very random. So every increased damage to a set of damage types for 7 seconds, alternating randomly between 2 sets. So one of the sets of damage is fire, lightning, holy, and physical. The other one is cold, poison, and shadow. The thing is, this can stack up to 6 times potentially, which is a ton of damage if that happens. It just kind of happens while you're fighting. You just get a ton of damage every once in a while. As you can see, it's right here actually. Cold, poison, and shadow. You'll see it's stacked twice. Every time it goes around, it just like randomly chooses and it can stack up to 6 times. So that's 120% damage. There's 180% damage if I was down here. So it can add up real quick. These are the weapons that are being used with Dance of Knives. My 2 swords here. I went with swords. Daggers might be better because they attack a little bit faster, but I'm not entirely sure that's gonna be true. I was using daggers early on, but I've switched over to swords. This sword, it's not real great. I don't think I should have transfigured this, to be honest, but I did. It's a little late for that. It has damage over time multiplier. As it transfigured basic skills. I actually got 2 transfigures on this one. It did not become unmodifiable when I did it the first time, and it gave me basic skills, which I'm not using, so it's kind of useless for me. It does have life on hit. It's got life and weapon damage. This weapon needs to be replaced. It's not great. But it has imprinted aspect is grenade skills deal 43% multiplicative increased damage. This bonus is increased to 63.8% multiplicative against crowd controlled. So again, more crowd control damage. This sword's it's better. It's not quite a bit better. It is better though. Again, I have health on here, weapon damage, critical strike damage multiplier. It was G8 on that, so that was good. And I masterworked the critical strike damage multiplier, as you can see. It's 50%. Got poison damage multiplier for my poison damage. Transfigure, rolled the shadow damage. Not much I can do about that. I don't do any shadow damage, but just the way it goes when you're playing with RNG. And then tempered critical strike damage. The temper on this one, I did damage when spending resolve. I'm still not really sure if this is the right choice. It is a very large amount. It's 123%, almost 124. So maybe I'm not sure. That one's something I've been messing around with because I'm not convinced that that's the right thing to do. But so that's what we got going on here. That's all. That's my whole build. I'm gonna go do a Torment 10 run. I don't think I'm gonna push it. I could maybe try 11, but like I said, I don't know what's gonna happen. I could potentially try it. My toughness is around like 2.2 million, I think, when I'm fighting. So as you can see, my toughness is 313,000 when I'm in town. This is without any of those resolve stacks being like put into the toughness. So you'll see when I go down here, I'll pull this screen up while I'm fighting, and I can show you how much this is going up. You'll see it go up as I get resolve stacks. So alright, that is the build for this. You can make your decision on what you think about this. I personally enjoy it. I've made a few different rogues now. I've made a few bow builds, which have been pretty fun. The rogue has changed a decent bit, I guess, with the expansion. The main thing is that imbuements no longer do what they used to in terms of now when you imbue your weapon, you just get it's a duration that it's up for. So like this is imbued for 8 seconds, where before the expansion, imbuements were like you would hit the imbuement and you could use like one skill. And then you'd have to use the imbuement again. So there was a lot of like, use the imbuement, use a skill, use the imbuement, use a skill. Kind of annoying, to be honest. It was part of the reason I didn't play rogue much before. I don't have a lot of time on the rogue class, to be honest. So I'll go do a Torment 10 run so you can see the build now in action. And I think they'll call it there. We'll see how this goes. I may continue to do build guides. It depends on how this video does, I guess. Like I said, I've never done this before, so as you're going to see, I'm getting some pretty high crit damage numbers here. I've seen like hundreds of billions. Depending on the situation, we freeze them. Like I said, I'm using the dash for mobility / the ferocity, although as you can see above my bar here, the ferocity. So there's the ferocity. I have resolve here. We're at 29 stacks, so you can see I'm at 1.4. If we start using some things that give me ferocity. Oh, I almost died. Wasn't paying attention. My bad. I'll show you. So we're at 29 stacks of resolve, and I'm at 1.3 million toughness. So once it stacks up a little bit more here, I'll show you how much more it actually ends up being. It's a lot. The whole resolve thing is quite strong right now. I know that there's some shade build that was going around on the rogue. I think it might still be a thing, but they had actually disabled one of the swords for a while because one of the builds was really broken and people were like cheesing the tower really bad and the pit. So as you can see, my imbuement's up pretty much all the time. I just kind of run in the middle. You can pretty much hold, you can hold this Dance of Knives like this. You can just walk around like this. I do lose a little bit of energy. See, there's Insight just came up. So now we have a bunch of bonus damage. Hit my Dark Shrouder once in a while. Sorry, my computer's freaking out a little bit. Holy Lord, there's too much happening apparently. Sorry about that. This should be okay, I think. It might be a little stuttery. I think it's okay. Sound's kind of freaking out. My kill speed isn't... It's not too bad down here. It's reasonable. As you can see, I freeze things a ton. I guess I did forget to show you as well. Using the Applied Alchemy charm set. This is for grenades and traps. Makes it do more damage. Casting grenade and trap skill reduces the active cooldown of grenade and trap skills by 1 second. So this is one of the ways I'm getting my trap back. I gain 5% damage reduction for every grenade or trap skill cast within the last 12 seconds, up to 30%. And then the 5-piece, casting a grenade or trap skill triggers cluster of exploding stun grenades. So, as you can see, when I use this, there's stun grenades. And they just come out every time. So, very powerful. I'm using Saboteur's Signet from my unique charm currently. Your grenades gain 50% additive increased size and deal 80% multiplicative increased damage. Enemies damaged by grenade skills become either vulnerable or weakened for 4 seconds. So, is this the right choice? I don't know. There might be a better charm to use, but this seems pretty good to me. And this makes it so I just vulnerable and weaken all the time. Like, it's just always up. It's just, this is the way it is. My seal isn't too bad. I do have a +1 charm slot one. It does have 20% multiplicative damage, which is actually max, and I am using Applied Alchemy, so I am getting 8% multiplicative vulnerable damage from this as well. So, pretty good, honestly. Considering my luck that I've had with seals so far and not getting the ones that are from my class, it's happened quite a bit. Just kind of playing the dice roll there. I do like having the dash because it gives me quite a bit of mobility. I mean, I'm fairly quick anyway, but it's nice to be able to just... So you can just like hold this, you can just hold this down. You can actually cast Shadow Imbuement while you're spinning like this. And you can also cast Dark Shroud while you're spinning like this, and it does not stop you. You can just cast it while you're spinning around a circle. Oh, that was not good. Sorry about that. I thought I had the little bit of stutters figured out, but apparently we're rubber banding. I'm sure other people have experienced rubber banding. I think it's more my PC than anything. It may also be the server slightly, but it's a little warm in here tonight. Okay. Will you stop? Thank you. Let's see. We're at 37 resolve stacks now, which is... Oh, the boss is up. So I'm at 1.8 million toughness currently. If I had up... Yeah, there's 45. Now I'm at 2.173. Boss is dead. That was Torment 10. Obviously, it would have been a little faster. I wasn't messing around. I was talking and showing things, so... I'm just leveling glyphs right now. I've kind of stopped doing my war plans for now because I was trying to get all these glyphs at least to 80. Kind of... We're playing the percentage chance game right now down here, so... I may have to try to crank the torment up so these percentages are a little bit higher, but... As you can see, this build seems to have pretty good potential. I don't know if this is a main build currently going on around with rogues or not. I know a lot of people are just using the Shade build in particular, so... Because it's like mega broken. Actually, here, let me... I can look at the leaderboard, I think. Here, let's go look at the pit leaderboard real quick. For the rogue. Yeah, two minutes to clear pit 150. And this guy's running... Let's look at his build real quick. Oh, he's actually using... Interesting. I've not looked at any of these, so... I'm very curious. I need to get these better gems, too. That's going to be another thing. This Umba Crux is the sword that got disabled. Yeah, see, he is using it. He must be using shades maybe with... I'm not sure what he's using it with, actually. He's using Legacy of the Sightless for his charm set. Makes sense. He's using Rain of Arrows. I was curious about this set. I haven't tried it yet. He's using this one, huh? Interesting. Actually really surprised. I guess it groups him up. That would make sense, I suppose. He doesn't actually have that good of seal yet. This is what I mean. It's like super hard to get the seals you want. Like this guy who's running 150 pit and is at literally number 1 doesn't even have a good seal. Like he just has a +1 so he can do all this other stuff. 150 glyph levels. Wild. I've never actually gotten to 150. I usually always just end up making new characters instead. Okay, I'm using most of what he's got. Dance Macabre. Dance. Harlequin's Crust, huh? Probably for the tankiness. Shroud of Candurus. Interesting. He's using a lot of Vortex stuff. Ah, Cassius. Oh, is he doing an Aerostorm build like my other rogue I have? Interesting. That's interesting. I've not looked at this stuff. Huh, okay. That actually gives me a lot of hope for that other rogue that I have. Okay, so that is the Grenade Dance of Knives rogue build. Like I said, I came up with this build on my own. I didn't look at anything previously. I just looked to see what there was and put something together, and it's turned out to be pretty strong so far. I have a feeling once I get all my gear sorted out here, she might be my second Torment 12 character. My first one was a Frost Sorceress using Frost Chain Lightning, actually. So, okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope it's helpful for maybe somebody. You try the build out if you want. I've made a ton of characters this season already. I think I'm on like character 22 or something. I've already deleted 6 characters from this season just to make new ones. So, just messing around with builds, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't, trying all the new skills. So there's a lot of mixing and matching now. The game is definitely a lot better than it was before. I'm enjoying it a lot. So, alright everybody. I'll talk to you next time. Peace.